What we have to understand is that the hip-hop nation, the corporate hip-hop nation, has been used to continue the party lines. That you need us to get your voice out. The politics of expression. I have a chapter in my book called The Politics of Expression. The art that NY Oil naturally gives up, that Hakim naturally gives up, that other rappers naturally give up, is being used in a political way because we can't control the message.
It's the God Trade D, Zulu Nation, you know what I mean? Just watched you rock out. Give a clear example of hip hop, the way a man spits it. Not the way the boys is spitting, the way men need to spit and bring a message crystal clear. Challenging brothers to step up and do something real with this thing we call hip hop. Now, this is documentary that's been, you know, making waves called Phony 2012 about this madman Joseph Phony in Uganda doing all types of terrible things to young folks in Africa. We definitely don't like to support anything that's about destruction. We want to build and not destroy. However, we know that, you know, there's been folks here on this side doing some strong work for 30, 40 years, and they don't get no attention. No, people pay them no never mind. We got this tool called hip hop, and a lot of folks have been misrepresenting hip hop's true power. Can you speak to how we can use hip hop to bring more energy, more strength to the folks that really need it out there in the street?
Well, first, you gotta allow the truth, you know what I'm saying, to be heard. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times what we're hearing is the nonsense in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's on the radio, garbage. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody even listening to radio anymore like that because it's garbage. But when you start teaching, it uplifts a people, it uplifts a nation. I say power to the people, and I ask you, are you a man or a mouse? Because our people need us. We are struggling and we are being killed. Genocide. Planned Parenthood, for example, used to be called eugenics. And that was population control. And that's what they do through Planned Parenthood. It's in our neighborhoods.
So, you know, we talk about some madmen in Africa exterminating little kids, but we have all part of the big picture. We have conservative white men who are exterminating black kids right here every day, all day, and there's no movement, there's no documentary, it's like this is just quiet, nobody cares, everybody's asleep until a documentary tells them they need to wake up and go that way, and then everybody goes that way.
Right, I mean, because, well, a lot of times what happens is you don't have the weapons to fight what you see that's already there. And then when somebody gives you the information and gives you the tools to fight, then you can step up. But until then, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people are going to remain dumb, deaf, and blind until there's messengers like you, me, you know what I'm saying, my partners with Collective Flow, Maroon Society, you know what I'm saying, KRS-One, Just Ice, you know what I'm saying, a lot of us that do teach something. All we gotta do is make it out there. Thing is, like my elder says, instead of trying to get in the industry, let's build one up right alongside of it. And push that to the side.
See, I'm all about self-determination, do for self. And like being happy, content, and in love with yourself. Because when you content with self, you don't need all the trappings that somebody else says you need in order to be successful. This brother showed me love since day one, and it never changes.
That's right.
We don't need all the other trappings to make, I see this brother, he see me, we know it's real, and that's what it is.
Always.
When I come here and I see him, I expect to see him. This is the work that he does. Vice versa.
Right.
Hip hop, like, it's bigger than hip hop, like Dead President said. This right here, it's a brotherhood thing. It's bigger than hip hop. It's not about rap, but we know that we can use rap music as a tool to uplift people, so that's what we do.
Let me tell you this, is that I'm from the first generation of hip hop. I've been doing this since 1975. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm gonna put it out there. I got 6 children, 5 grands, and I'm still doing hip hop, and I'm probably better than most of you cats that's out there. Peace.
Yeah, this is Hakim, Hour of Truth. You already know what it is. With my big brother Shep. Been down with the Panther Party forever and a day. Foundational supporter. You know, this is a thing we're doing, kind of a response to the Coney 2012 phenomenon. We calling our piece Phony 2012. We want to expose the phoniness by highlighting the realness. We talking about fighting for Africa on the continent and in the diaspora. Can you highlight for us some of the folks who've been doing the real work and the condition that they're in, this event, while we've come together to support these individuals, and what it means in the overall fight of colonialism and oppression?
Okay, quickly but to the point, this event, let me start there.
Yeah.
This event is the first of a series of events that we're going to be doing.
And talk to the people.
That we're going to be doing. We're going to be going to Ghana, probably in July. We're going to Venezuela. We're going to Cuba. We're going to Brazil. We're going to Angola. And then we'll be going to England. Okay. Basically what it is we're using hip-hop culture as a weapon. We're talking about the Afro-Cuban, Afro-Venezuelan, so forth communities where our ancestors were there and basically forgotten about. And I mention those countries, but they all have a connection, particularly with their languages. When I say Brazil and I say Angola, we're talking about the Portuguese. So there's no place on this planet that the enemy did not colonize and send our people there. Our goal is more than just Pan-Africanism, but it's to bring humanism to us as a people in terms of what their needs are. The only way our political prisoners are going to be released, Malcolm said it back in the day, John Henry Clark has said it more recently, we have to bring our struggle on an international level. Otherwise, they're never going to get out. So, for instance, in terms of, people talk about reparations, we talk about repatriation. Okay, we have no country for our U.S.-born political prisoners that are of African descent. They can't go somewhere else and get dual citizenship, mainly because the colonists from the past have embedded in their minds that they're criminals and they're not going to allow them to come in. We got to get past that. We have a series of programs that we do. You mentioned who do I know that's really doing the work. We have what's called a People Survival Program, which originally we did back in the day when I was in the Black Panther Party in the early 70s. The PSP is what we call it, is basically set up to provide survival programs. We do more than just give food, clothing, medical advice and screenings and so forth, which is very important. But the whole idea is to train the people how to do these programs themselves in their own communities. We teach first aid CPR. When we talk about survival, we're talking about being prepared. What happens if a hurricane hits? What happens if a tornado hits? Are you prepared? Do you have water in your home? Do you have all the necessary equipment in your house to be able to survive? Or do you have to run out to the street and think you're going to pathball and get shot in the street as a looter because martial law has been declared? So you need to learn to prepare yourself and not depend upon FEMA and the government to save your ass, because it ain't happening. That's what's providing survival programs to the community and teach them how to do that and be prepared. We teach anti-police terror and community control of the police departments. We have a 10-course workshop. We don't just teach Know Your Rights. We teach you how to organize your community so you're prepared when this shit happens, when the pigs move on you. These should be set up in every community. So basically we're talking about survival units in every community that is inside the Black and oppressed Latino nation.
Now, let folks know how they can help you and support you in your work, because the work is also very important, and it's more than just making a movie, it's more than just a documentary, but it's a lot of the grunt work that Sister Day spoke of earlier. How do people reach out to you to support you and your organization? Okay,
you can do that two ways. You can call the Guillermo Morales Asada Shakur Center, which is located inside of City College. It's not of City College, it just happens to be a City College, because the students liberated the space from there in the 80s. And Asada Shakur was actually a student there, along with Guillermo Morales. Both of them are in exile in Cuba right now. Again, we have to go international for people who will protect our prisoners when they escape or when they are released or liberated from prison. The number is 212-650-5008. And you can also email me directly, and I will put you into our network. Once you become part of our network, you will get information about all the activities that are going on with the People's Survival Program and any other actions that are taking place in terms of organizing. Because that's what it's about right now. My email is Panther, P-A-N-T-H-E-R, just like you see this panther here, Shep, S-H-E-P, Cat, C-A-T. That's Panther Shepcat at AOL.com. If you email me, I'll hit you right back, and I'll put you in our network, and you begin to get information that will help you survive.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
It's about doing the real work. This is one of the legendary workers in the movement.
Peace.
Yeah, this is Hakim Green standing with my brother Hassan Salam. And we talk about, hip hop as a tool for revolution, a tool for struggle. You've been doing it for a long time. Met you, maybe I met the brother like 7-8 years ago in Jersey City. I came by your radio show. And at the time that I met the brother, what I heard him spit, just nobody was spitting like that in the game. And he's been maintaining that lane since then, doing it big, traveling the world, spreading the same message. Now, we got this documentary, Phony 2012. I don't really want to get into that, but we're doing something called Phony 2012.
There's a lot of phony motherfuckers out there.
A lot of phony motherfuckers out there.
Do one every year.
So, seeing as though you're one of the real ones, right? I want you to speak to the real work in hip-hop activism, and how do you see that effect around the world?
Well, I think right now we see that hip-hop has become the voice of the oppressed all over the world. Like I was just in Northern Ireland recently, and over there they had Protestants and Catholics been killing each other over there for a long time.
Thousands of years.
You know what I'm saying? And I performed over there, and there was Protestants and Catholics in the same show that were brought together by hip-hop. And before I went on stage, my man, he's Irish, my DJ from over there, DJ Snuff, was like, you don't even gotta talk about it. Like everybody here already know why they here. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's here just for the love of hip hop, because both sides that have been raised on the hip hop, they might have been sneaking to rock with one another, you know what I'm saying? Even though their parents might be at war with one another. And then you'll see, like in Palestine, with things like Slingshot Hip Hop Project, and artists from over there, they've been using hip hop. I recently was over in Guinea-Bissau, West Africa, and the artists there that I work with called the Baloberos crew, they actually got snatched up by the military police because they had made a song called 7 Minutes of Truth. And they were talking about, in Guinea-Bissau, their government is a pure narco state. So very, very corrupt. They have civil war there since like 73, mad assassinations. So they used the song 7 Minutes of Truth, and they was breaking it all down. And the government came down on them. The military police snatched them up, fucked them up, told them that if y'all spit this anymore, something bad gonna happen to you and your family. And they haven't wavered. They still standing strong, still making music, still speaking the truth. And the people there have gravitated to hip hop as their voice. Because the drums has always been important.
Oh, you already know.
So it's like we got them same drums over here. We the modern day griots over here. You know what I'm saying? So they've gravitated to hip hop, and hip hop is the most powerful art form on the face of the planet.
That's crazy because you say again, like hip hop as a weapon, rap as a weapon. The power in the word, the power that the ability, the power of the word has in changing people's mind, and how just by speaking to somebody in a certain way, a certain tone, giving a certain message, can revolutionize people's whole view, whole perspective.
If I see you walking down the street and I'm like, yo, peace. Yo, a lot of people, they don't understand how much saying just peace to somebody can change their day. You never know what a brother's been going through that whole day. You might see me, I might have just got fired from my job. Some crazy shit might have happened. You just give me the old ice grill, might set it off between me and you. If you say peace, that might be the first thing all day that I've heard that's positive. You know what I'm saying? Just like how they say, actions speak louder than words, but words can inspire action, you know what I'm saying? So you never know what the words is gonna do and how they're gonna motivate somebody. So I'm 100% in agreement with you on that,
Now, having been on the continent several times, right? You've been in Africa a few times.
I only I've been there twice.
You've been there twice. Like, what's the overall mood of the people in the places that you've been in terms of your young folks, their spirit? Like, are they with the bling bling? Are they with the commercialism, or they want something more message-oriented music?
Well, last time I was there, I was in Senegal and I was in Guinea-Bissau. And they're both a little different because Senegal, being that it used to be a French colony, you know, a lot of people there still have that, you know, they want a French fashion and a lot of the bling is there. But then you also have in Senegal a very, very strong hip-hop, underground, pro-black, pan-African movement.
Right.
But it's like in Senegal, there's still a little bit of that blingy stuff because you get artists from over here going there. In Guinea-Bissau, I was the first American artist to ever rock there.
Wow.
So they all on some hard body, like, fuck the government. There's this one dude over there, he gets on stage, like he wear a mask on some like Ghostface shit, right? He gets on stage and he probably raps maybe 35% of his set. The other rest of his set, he's just bashing the government. So every time when he's done rocking, like dude has to bolt off stage and like dip out, and the people make sure that he get out safe because the shit that he's saying is so powerful. You know what I'm saying? And cats like Baloberos over there, like I said, they got snatched up. So it's like, depending on where you at, but for the most part, the people over there want the real shit because they dealing with real shit. It's not like poverty in the continent is different than poverty here. Some people here, we get comfortable in poverty. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I got my big screen TV, I got cable, I got Xbox, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I put my feet up. Over there, you might have to walk 2-3 hours to get running water, you know, fresh water that you can drink. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're not comfortable. You want better. So if somebody's rapping to you about, I'm getting diamonds from other people on your continent, exploiting them, fuck you for being poor, I'm rich, da-da-da-da. Motherfuckers don't want to hear that shit over there. You know what I'm saying? And that's, but and you see it in the artists over there, what they speak about. You know, even like if you look at artists like that's made it global, like Kanan and stuff, his music has substance. It means something when you hear it, you know?
Yeah. Pick up the Kanan. Why are you here? Why is it important for you to be here at this event right here?
If it wasn't for the political prisoners that spent their life trying to make our lives better, we wouldn't have this voice. You know, like people here in America, they really believe in the illusion of freedom. You know, if you think about it, we're not free. People say you have freedom of speech. You're free to say shit along the lines of what they want you to say. But you're not, you don't really have freedom of speech. Because at the end of the day, when you think about Abumia Abu Jamal, or you think about Sundiata Akoli, they were saying things that made the government scared. So they want to put them away so nobody can hear them. Or they gonna kill you in your bed like Fred Hampton. But our elders, they gave their lives. And even our elders that's here on the outside, they dedicated their entire lives. When you think about it, like me personally, Sundiata Akoli, that's my hero. Like since I was a shorty, that was my hero. When he was younger, he was like one of the first black people to ever work for NASA. Like he could have been set right now. He could have been living fucking beautiful. But he realized, he was like, you know, my people aren't allowed to vote. So he decided to leave NASA and go to Mississippi to register black folk to vote down there at a time when you could get killed for doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what led him to even getting into the Black Panther Party.
See, like, I think it's important that you really listen to what he's saying about Sundiata Akoli, because we got folks who are concerned with a man 6,000 miles away who really ain't even doing much these days. Where we got people who are locked up here because they stood up to the Joseph Coneys here, and they're locked up, and we're not doing nothing. We're doing nothing, not enough, to support those folks and to make sure that the Joseph Coneys here don't come back up. So I ain't gonna cut your wisdom by just...
It's all good. If you think about it, if you really want to look for somebody, why don't they make a campaign about that for Dick Cheney? Halliburton's still killing motherfuckers right now. Killing Americans, destroying. If you're one of those people that doesn't care about other parts of the world, look right here with the money that Halliburton's receiving for the Gulf oil spill. And how it's destroying our own environment right here in this country. There's enough people you could just name in this country that have killed and are killing. You know what I'm saying? That's passing laws for using materials that are going to kill people, give people cancer right here in the United States and all over the world.
Like aspartame.
Word.
Aspartame is a synthetic sweetener. It's proven to be cancerous. They banned aspartame in, I think, the 70s. Donald Rumsfeld owns major shares of the company that produces aspartame. So that's why aspartame is now in all your sweeteners. Your Sweet and Lows, your, all these different artificial sweeteners, aspartame is in it. They know it causes cancer. Donald Rumsfeld got it by the FDA, and Donald Rumsfeld and Dick Cheney are like this. You see the conspiracy, the interlocking of the Joseph Kony, the real evil men of the world. And we do nothing to challenge them, or the folks that do something to challenge them, they end up dead, exiled, in jail, on the run, and we clowning around.
Basically, right now, for going back to what hip-hop can do, for everybody that's watching, if you're from Jersey, every third Sunday of the month, actually tomorrow, we do a food and clothing drive in Jersey City, New Jersey, on Grant Avenue and Jackson Boulevard, MLK Boulevard, if y'all not from around the way. We've been there for like 7 years doing that. And also, my next project that I just put out, Music Is My Weapon, all the profits and proceeds are going to build a school, a freshwater well, and a medical facility in Guinea-Bissau, where I just was at. We actually broke ground on a school already. They're starting to finish up all the inside of the school. Kids is going to be going to school in the next couple of weeks to learn. And inshallah, by next month, we'll have broken ground on the medical facility and trying to work to get doctors over there to work with people.
And how can they get at you one more time?
You can get at me, HassanSalamMusic.com. That's HassanSalam Music.com. Facebook, Twitter, all that good shit. I'll be on Twitter all day telling fucking Governor Christie to jump in front of a fucking bus. Because that's another Coney motherfucker. How you gonna have a person that's against kindergarten? Doesn't want our children to get educated. Come from that same line. He was actually worked in the prosecutor's office when Sundiata Acoli was put in jail and when Assata Shakur was put in jail, which is why when Sundiata Acoli was actually up for opportunity to get his parole, they denied it again because that dude, Christie, has been involved since jump. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even on a conspiratorial level. Them motherfuckers is outwardly like, yo, this is what we about. This is who we don't like.
When you can like paint the boogeyman as some greasy black sweaty man in the jungle with a machete running around wilding. When that's the boogeyman, you get 80 million views on whatever. When the real enemy is got a suit and tie on and you see him on CNN every day, he gets a pass. And that's the real boogeyman. I'm gonna just put it to you like this. The New Jersey State Trooper, their uniform, was modeled after the Nazi SS uniforms. So that's telling you who they want to be like, what they're born from, what the plan is, what the goal is. They're walking us to the showers. I'm not gonna hold the brother up anymore, but
I just want to say, you're building on the same situation. If you really want to understand a lot more about the Coney situation and what's going on in Uganda and Rwanda, you should definitely do the knowledge on what's going on in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, because over there, everybody remembers that film like Hotel Rwanda and the Rwandan genocide. Uganda got a lot of money from the United States, from Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton put millions, if not billions of dollars into Uganda, and you're seeing some of the people in Uganda reaching over into the DRC, trying to kill more people and committing more genocide, and there's something like 10 million people that have died there over like the last 5 years. My number might be a little off in the years, but there's been enough people for it to be more than the Holocaust of World War II that have died in the DRC, basically over gold, oil, and the mineral coltan, which is what they use for iPods, cell phones, and all of that. So it's a lot more to it than just Coney. Coney is, I'm not saying that I support that dude in any kind of way.
Not at all. Not at all.
He's a terrible person.
No,
but there's a lot of people over there right now that are still getting their funding from the United States government, from England, from other European powers to actually continue this genocide that's going on in the DRC, that's going on in the Sudan, and a lot of other places throughout the continent of Africa. So don't let them just focus one kind of thing. That's how they try to they try to work towards people apathy. Like, all right, people don't really want to do nothing, so they'll sign up on an email list or something like that. But that doesn't stop what's going on over there. People have to give up some of their comfort of what we have over here to actually make this world a better place, you know?
With that said, it's Our Truth, Hakim Green, Hassan Salam, TurtleGang, and you know that. I'm with Sister Dequi Kinoni Siddiqui.
Keone Siddiqui.
Keone Siddiqui. My bad. Anyway, we're doing this piece. It's called Phony 2012. What we're doing is dispelling the illusion by bringing attention to what's real. All right? Now, you've been involved in struggle for some time now. I'm not gonna tell your age, how long. But in your work in the community over these years, you know what real work looks like and what it doesn't look like. Can you first speak to that, like what real work looks like versus a media campaign?
Okay. Well, I think one of the main things is real work looks like what you're doing, because with you using the media that you're using, the real work is not being shown on the corporate media. The real work is at the events where grassroots people are who don't always, just like our history books exclude our history, well, the corporate media excludes our work. So the real work is like coming out, talking to people who know people, talking to people, doing events like this. Culture is a Weapon hip hop events that raise consciousness of people about the existence of U.S. held political prisoners. Talking about the stop and frisk, that is like really people are talking about that now. I mean the mass imprisonment of black and brown people. So going into all the places where our people are, just doing what we're doing here, just having a conversation with people, helping people to see how when we want to talk about U.S. held political prisoners, helping them to see how and why U.S. held political prisoners relates to their lives, their own particular lives, right? Because how oppression works is to get people distracted, like you said, with the illusions of all of this other stuff. We got conies right here in NYPD, in the mayor's office, in the governor's office. You know, we don't have to go to Africa to find mass injustice. You know,
but even if we wanted to go to Africa, right? There are some folks who've been doing the real work, even on the continent, in connecting Africans and Africans in diaspora. And those folks have been incarcerated, exiled, murdered, prison, so forth and so on. Can you name some of those folks, the work that they did, and what got them in trouble, so to speak, so we can understand
the people here, our freedom fighters.
Our freedom fighters.
Okay. Well, this event here in particular is to raise consciousness about political prisoner Dr. Mutulu Shakur. Mutulu Shakur was a member of the Black Panther Party, Black Liberation Army. He's an acupuncturist. They took over Lincoln Hospital up in the Bronx when heroin was destroying our community. Dr. Mutulu Shakur was using acupuncture to heal the community. Excuse me, and to get people off of drugs, addicted to drugs, so that they didn't even need methadone, because what they did was they substituted one drug for another drug, which was still a poison to our community. So he's a licensed healer, and so that was criminalized. So they had to do that, stop him from doing that.
Now, what's important about understanding Dr. Mutulu Shakur is that I like to call him Tupac's ideological father. Can you speak to that relationship? Because so many of our young people having that connection with Pac because of hip hop, they need to really understand Dr. Mutulu Shakur and his influence on Pac.
Absolutely. Well, because Tupac has a sister, so that, Mutulu was the male figure, the father figure. And, because we live in a society filled with violence, misogyny, disrespect of our communities, he was helping to channel the righteous anger that a lot of our young black males feel into something positive, and understanding that you have to explain, like when he did the thug life tattoo, he said, well, what does that mean? Like, you cannot just do something and it not have any meaning. So he held Pac accountable for what he was doing, because because he knew that he had the power, because he was in front of people. People saw him, and little children were listening to that and paying attention. So it was about the code. It was about what you do and don't do in your community. It was about serving and protecting your community. Those foundations were in Pac because of his mother being a Black Panther, and all his extended family, his aunts and uncles and cousins, and extended sisters and brothers were part of the Panther Cubs. They were part of the struggle. So it was there. He was just channeling it into something else because he understood the power of hip hop music.
When we say, we talk gangster, hip hop parlance or street parlance, gangster. What's gangster? Everybody wants to be gangster, but to date, I haven't heard anything that happened in our community more gangster than the freeing of Assata Shakur and how that went down. Could you speak to that situation? Who participated? Who was involved? Where they stand now? Because when we talk about standing up and getting gangster for real, that's what really goes down, and we don't really talk about that.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because several of the people that were implicated in the liberation of Assata, Sundiata Acoli, not necessarily in the liberation, but he was on the turnpike with her on that night that she was shot and with her hands up, captured, taken into the hospital, beaten, tortured, and then she did 7 years in prison. But Mutulu Shakur was implicated, serving time for that. Sekou Odinga, which is one of the other brothers that we're representing tonight, he was convicted and charged and convicted with that, and he did his time in federal time. And as a matter of fact, he's here in New York State now, having completed his federal bid. Now we're fighting and raising money for the state's right to have custody of him because they turned him over to the federal government. And so he completed that. He completed that time. But it was like, when we talk about unity and solidarity, it was a movement. It was a collective of folks who were involved, because people see injustice and they're like you said, you want to be gangster. Gangster is not hurting people who look like you. Gangster is saying, okay, I'm not like the song that was just never give up, never back down. And we have people who never gave up and never backed down and dreamed of another world and fought for another world, defending the community, not just against police violence, but serving children, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to feed children that are not your own, right? Establishing free breakfast programs, free health clinics, pantries where people can go and get food, clothing. Every single thing that the Black Panther Party implemented, every program, just like the U.S. government and the corporations have co-opted hip-hop and used it against us, they co-opted those programs.
Breakfast programs, after-school programs.
Everything, because none of that was happening. The Black Panther Party during that time tested over 1 million children with sickle cell anemia, African-American children.
Did you say that again?
Over 1 million children.
The Black Panther Party tested over 1 million children. This is during the 70s. It's a very short amount of time. This is while they were receiving a large amount of pressure from the state, from the pigs. They were able to do this work, and that's what made them so dangerous. Is they could unite people by helping people. It wasn't about destroying the community, but building the community. They squashed the Panthers, and what happened to the community?
That's right, exactly. And it's interesting that you say that, because J. Edgar Hoover, who created the COINTELPRO program under the FBI, is responsible for the exile, the assassination, the imprisonment, and a whole bunch of other stuff that was targeting progressive groups. He said, not only did he say that the Black Panther Party was the greatest eternal threat to the security of the United States, but he said it was the free breakfast program that had to be destroyed. Why? Because mothers saw the government is not feeding my children. These young people who live in the community are finding a way to feed my hungry children. I can't go on my refrigerator have food. I can't take my child to the doctor, right? Sickle cell anemia is a regular part of health screening today. When a baby is born, an African-American baby is born, they're automatically tested for sickle cell anemia. So they co-opted all of those things, but in the meantime, they criminalized during that time. They criminalized, and then their revisionist history. So COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover, the police departments around the country are responsible and know very well all the chaos that we have going on, because it was very malicious and deliberate, the things that were done to make it be the way that it is. Because when you had young brothers and sisters fighting to stop drugs in the community, fighting the gang, creating truces and doing something. Fred Hampton in Chicago, working with the gangs out there, the street organizations out there. The cops didn't want that. They wanted, so they used COINTELPRO to instigate stuff and to turn people against each other. So they want what they have now because then it furthers their status quo. 2.5 million people in prison today, predominantly black and brown. 13th Amendment says what? Slavery shall be abolished, except. So did they not tell us what they was planning?
Yeah, they told us. We got to figure out a way to get you guys locked up some way, somehow, even if it means criminalizing your culture. So everything that you do is categorized as criminal. So even if you don't have a problem with the police per se, but you're Trayvon, what's the brother named Trayvon Martin from Florida, the young boy that got murdered?
He was suspicious.
Because he was suspicious. Black and suspicious. They criminalize the culture, your style of dress, the way you talk. So when these things go down, you're guilty. You do nothing, but you're guilty. The most important thing, the most important part of this conversation is how to support your work. So if you can tell our viewers how to get in contact with you to support your work and to support those brothers and sisters that need our help. Because Coney 2012, 80 million people have viewed it thus far and they've raised millions of dollars and we don't know where that's going.
So that's going to be another Haiti. Another Haiti.
Another Haiti. But you can contact Sister Daquis and she can direct your dollars to the right place to make sure it's used in a proper way.
Absolutely. All of our political prisoners have websites, just about, but you can contact me at, you can send an email to mxcc519@verizon.net. There's the JerichoMovement.com, that's our website. You can call me at 718-512-5008. And we really need, freedom is not free. We know that, and the struggle continues from the first ship that came from Spain in 1492 to the first African who was kidnapped and brought here in 1619. We have been continuing to fight this battle. And so this is a beautiful thing because it shows how we fight the battles. We resist in a multitude of ways. It's not one way, it's many ways. It's not one person, it's many people, right? So we need to have that collective energy, that collective fist to fight against this injustice. So we do the work together to do, as Safia Bukhari, who is an ancestor now, but who was a member of the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army, she said, pick up the work. We need y'all people. We need y'all to pick up the work. We need to free our political prisoners. We need to pay attention to this prison industrial complex, this mass imprisonment, the stop and frisk, just the total genocide that is taking place against our communities and our children. So you got to save your children, my children, and those children not yet born.
All power to the people.
All power to the people, brother.
Thank you, sis.
Thank you, brother.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies.
Everybody talk Illuminati, I say who they? Is it the Freemasons, Bilderbergers, or Boulets? Is it devil worship? Well, how do you pray? Can I get an amen like the eye of Amun-Re? The trick and tricknology is in the methodology. Religion without science becomes idolatry.